Hello, Hassel from House of Uses here for a video game review. Yep, and I think it's time I finally talk about a game in a series that I've sort of alluded to in the past and sort of said I probably could review a game or two, but because of how massive they are, I just couldn't. Time to talk about The Legend of Zelda and its recent game, Echoes of Wisdom. Yes, the very first mainline game in the series where Zelda is the main character. Yes, and I mean, not counting the Philips CDI stuff and the Hyrule Warriors games. And I think a lot of people don't count the Philips CDI games. Yeah. Yeah, now I'm a fan of The Legend of Zelda. And I can basically, I've played a few of many of the games. To be honest, I think the only game I don't like is probably one of the DS games. It's the one that's, I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's not Spirit Tracks, it's the other one that takes place in the Toon Link era that's, still deals with pirate ships and all that. It's the direct sequel to Wind Waker. And, when it comes to the other games, the games I have played, I've got my favorites. I mean, I love Ocarina of Time, I love Link's Awakening, and I especially love Majora's Mask. What I've played and when I play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I love them, but, my favorite is definitely Majora's Mask. Um, And, when I heard about this, I was thinking, you know what? I want to play it. And, Link's Awakening is probably my second favorite Zelda game, and I especially love the remake for the Switch. And the fact that this game is going in the same art style made me very confident I should give this a shot. And I'm glad I did, Not just the fact that, and also the fact that Zelda's the playable character is quite appealing. And you know what? I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a great game. And I am and while I am hearing saw a few people comment that they wish this could have got nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Um, yeah, it could have got more recognition, more nominations, but Game of the Year, well, I think this could be an honorable. You could have it could have its case, but I don't know. Do you really think it could beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? I think the FF7 remake rebirth or whatever it's called, I forget. And honestly, I kind of am glad Astrobot got nominated as well. Though to be fair, I don't think it will win Game of the Year. Yeah, if it does win, this video comes dated. Comes dated. But anyway, the story is rifts have been popping up all around Hyrule, created by the mysterious villain known as Null. Null it exists in a separate dimension, banished by the three goddesses of Hyrule, and and seeks revenge by tearing the world apart using rifts in order to gain access to the Triforce. At the same time, we obviously get the beginning, the main plot we always see in every Zelda game, where Link is battling Ganon to save Zelda. But shortly after Link beats Ganon, he and the monster and the Demon King are swallowed by the rifts. Not and Zelda, having just been freed from her prison, quickly escapes before she is consumed as well, with the help of a mysterious fairy-like creature known as Tri. Yeah, I think you can guess what sort of connection Tri has with that name. And after she returns to her castle and reunites with her father, she witnesses the majority of Hyrule Town and Hyrule Castle being consumed by a void, well, by a rift, and ends up including her father, who went and gets replaced by a duplicate who frames her for being responsible. Zelda escapes thanks to Impa and meets up with Impa's brother. I forget his name, who apparently trained Link. And after Zelda explains what has happened, and and to both the brother and to Impa's brother as well, and talking and meeting up again with she's Tri convinces her that the only way to save the King of Hyrule is to is to be is to assist with is that the two join forces to mend the rifts and save everyone in Hyrule, including Link and Link and Zelda's father. And it's up to them to go to every main area in Hyrule and interact with every known species. So You get your Gerudos, you get the Zoras, you get the Gorons, the Deku Scrubs. Forget what the snow people are called. I forget what they're called, but yeah. And it's up to and slowly but and using the powers of a staff the tribe bequeaths to Zelda, Zelda can copy enemies, objects, what and many other contraptions in order to use them to combat enemies and save Hyrule. So that's basically a rundown of what happens. And you know what? There are some decent twists, decent surprises with the story. Like I was quite surprised that we actually start off as Link saving Zelda at the very beginning, and Link does help out a bit in the final dungeon. And the storylines of each of the different races of Hyrule are somewhat appealing. I mean, I do like the river and sea Zora and ocean Zoras clashing over their beliefs and in how their music summons Jabu Jabu. Kind of like that. I thought it was great. I love, yeah, and I really enjoy the two leaders of both Zora races. The Gorons are pretty fun, are okay. I thought their leader, being a bit of a geek, but wants to follow the rules set by his now deceased father, is somewhat appealing. And I especially love the snow monster that you meet who saved Zelda from a blizzard, who is a bit of bit upset knowing that he's now lost his father and his brother hasn't returned from his long overdue trip. And when he finally thinks he sees his brother, it's actually a monster created by the Rift, being a Yeti. I think they're Yetis, whatever. Yeah, there's some good characters. As I said, I like especially. I mean, I like think I'll just call that snow monster a Yeti, and the two Zora tribe leaders. They're great. Yeah, and the others, and I guess I don't mind the Gerudo princess in this, who is the first one who openly who openly wants to help Zelda, but has to um, but is clearly being misguided by a Rift created copy of her mother's uh, consort. The Deku Scrubs, though, I wouldn't say are perfect. Like, they're just treated as more jokes. I don't know. I kind of even then now I think about it, I think the Deku Scrubs were probably some of my least favorite characters in Majora's Mask. I mean, I didn't mind them, but compared to everyone else in the Land of Termina, I wouldn't really call them great. But yeah, and the residents of Hyrule are fine. I do like Impa and Impa's brother, but and the king is it's actually good to see the king of Hyrule and Zelda have a bit more interactions, which is kind of nice. Um, but yeah, that's really about it. I mean, the captain of the guards of Hyrule and the bookkeeper, I don't really recall too much about them. Yeah. And look, if I forgot any other races of uh, you know, another tribe of the people of the world of the King of Hyrule, just let me know because oh yeah, there's also the stamp rally guy from on the side quest. I'll talk about that later. I really do enjoy it, but there is one thing I do want to address. Well, actually, there's two things. I thought this game, with Link being consumed by the rifts, and I was kind of thinking that maybe there could be a tie to the remake of Link to Link's Awakening. Because knowing that this is adopting the same art style as the remake, kind of got me thinking that maybe when Link gets swallowed by the rift in the opening, this is what starts his dream for Link's Awakening. I was kind of hoping that, but also that they don't do it because apparently Link and Zelda's connections to the Triforce and apparently allows them to not be put in frozen time when they're swallowed by the rifts. They're able to interact, to move around and do things. So yeah, that kind of made me a bit disappointed with that. And I guess the other thing is actually Ganon. I was kind of hoping Ganon, because other than the opening and the halfway boss when Zelda rescues her father, the end of I would say the first act when Zelda finally rescues her father from the Steel World, and one side quest, Ganon's not really in it. So it was kind of, and considering that Ganon is on On the cover, I was thinking maybe there's a chance Ganon might actually be involved in the final boss where he also assists Zelda along with Link. Especially considering, obviously Ganon it controls the Triforce of Power. Um, I was thinking that could be the case, especially with Null trying to gain access to the Triforce. Ganon could show up and steal his piece, but use that to help Zelda defeat Null. But we don't get that, and instead, Null just grabs the piece with a carbon copy of Zelda that he's made and gains access to that piece. Well, I just was thinking I would have liked Ganon to show up. But you don't have to do Ganondorf, but just do something with Ganon. I just thought they could have done more with him. Yeah. And try's fine. I I like using his abilities that he gives Zelda, but uh, a, I wouldn't call him great. So he's fine, but he's no Tattle. Oh, he's no Midna. Yeah, honestly I think Navi's actually a lot better. But yeah, for what it is, being Zelda's companion on this, he's okay. Um, but going on to the main game of this, I enjoy a lot of it. I mean, I think the game controls fine, and obviously the uh, moving Zelda around this top-down perspective is great, and it's also great to see a new Zelda game that go, got the more classic approach. Zelda's easy to control, jumping, spinning, and everything. But obviously, she doesn't have weapons. Now, by fighting against carbon copies of Link inside the rifts, Zelda gains access to his weapons, which are obviously the sword, the bombs, and the arrows. Which you can level up by finding might crystals, I think that's what they're called, and using them to power up her abilities with Impa's brother. And now this also you can also use that to include and also power up the energy bar that allows Zelda to use these abilities. And they're okay. I do enjoy. I just kind of find it, maybe. But as much as I like using them, I don't mind using them, especially when it comes to using the bow and arrow for flying enemies. And they're really situational. You're only really going to have to use them for combat, really against certain bosses and side missions and unlocking hidden areas with the bombs. But that's really about it. Instead, you'll gain more access out of the echo gimmick. Co- capture Copying various defeated enemies and objects around the world of Hyrule is very appealing, and and you can sort of use them for many different ways of traversing the land of Hyrule and getting through the rifts, which are the dungeons, I should say. And some of these things you can copy are really good. I love using at the early stage the trampoline is such a great thing to get up to higher ledges, and then gain access to the water blocks in order to swim up to the ledges is great. But you also have the opportunity to. But later on, I think very early, like the first dungeon, you can copy these magic tiles, which enable you to travel long distances until they fall they they lose until they fall apart, and they are most the most used ability I think in this game. These floating tiles, they're great because you can you can push have them go in any different direction, and it just helps you traverse much quicker. And obviously, you can't use them for everything. Like for higher places, you can later gain access to these floating platforms with eyes that slam down to that can be used to defeat mobs. But as long as you jump on them, you can traverse to higher ledges. Yeah, and you do gain access to a horse later. But yeah, these flying blocks, you'll use them very often. And you gain access, and you also can, copy enemies, which are good. All these different mobs, goblins, keys, swoopers, Deku Barbers. Um, um, there's a variety of different ones, and the more you get, and some you will use more, like the bomb fish, before you actually get access to Link's bombs. But they gain more. as you progress later on, you do find better options, better mobs that you'll quickly use more. But the enemies that you do capture when you do get them, one you'll get you'll get some good mileage out of them before you find a stronger version. Well, most of them. Some once you find a certain one, some after gain access to them, you won't really use them again. Like the keys, I don't really use too much, and the Decubarbers as well. But yeah, I really do enjoy the using echoes. They're great. I mean, I the bosses are also pretty good, I will admit. Okay, the final boss's first two phase, Null's first two phases aren't really perfect, but the third phase they gradually increase, and the third phase is definitely the best. But every other boss in this is really good. I mean, I like the spider boss. I like the fish boss in the underwater in the in the Zora dungeon. I like the dragon in the Goron volcano. They're great bosses. Yeah, so I'm enjoying a lot of these, but and gain new heart pieces by you find them on the overworld in hidden locations or doing certain side missions are good, but let's just say that some of these side missions are not a bit of a hassle. Like the sleeping trials. Oh, they can be hard. They're about you first gain access to them after the game through the first act, and you can get through about maybe six or eight. But you'll always find a few that are and then you get the remaining lot as you after you complete after you gain access to the final dungeon. And some of these missions can be absolutely hard to manage, like some of the boss rushes. Okay, not the final one. The final one's okay, where you also have to fight Ganon at the very end. But the time limits just make it so tough to get through, and to get the best the a good time in order to get all the prizes, they're just so hard to. They can be so tedious, like yeah, really, really tedious, especially if you're not good at mastering some of Zelda's abilities, like Zelda's spin attack. I find tough, and as I said, the boss rushes can be difficult, especially with ones that you have to take very long to get through their certain patterns. Yeah, they're hard to manage. Oh, the 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 horse racing stuff is also difficult. I mean, it's also a pain because let's be fair, even when you get access to Zelda's horse, you're not going to use it that much because you can walk to different areas and there are much better options to move around uh, the land of Hyrule. I mean, hey, the horse can't swim, so you might as well stick to using the magic tiles. But the horse races can be as much of a pain as well due to the time limit getting through in the fastest time. They're really really annoying. And the stamp rally, I wouldn't call it bad, but it can be, I don't know, repetitive, just with how long it goes on for, but whatever. It isn't too bad, to be fair. I mean, I do kind of get a kick out of finding new locations, but I just wish the 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 host can just, maybe say something different. I'm just saying. And yeah, I think that's really about it. And even there are some side missions after you complete every land of Hyrule and help for their, some of the where the leaders need a little bit extra help with certain things, like or the people who help Zelda in the main parts when dealing with the rifts. So they're okay. Um, but yeah, some of these side missions aren't really that perfect. Well, aren't really that good. But to be fair, they're very few, and most of them aren't too bad. Like honestly, as much as I didn't think Deku Scrubs were didn't enjoy too much of the Deku Scrub stuff in the when dealing with the Rift in their area, I did enjoy a lot of their side quests involving them. And I gotta give credit, I really do enjoy the smoothie side quest with making different different smoothie types. That's pretty fun. Mixing different ingredients to make different combos for different smoothies is appealing. I really do enjoy good lot of it. Yeah, I don't personally use too much of the smoothies, with some exceptions. Like in the Snow Kingdom, I use a lot of the smoothies to keep Zelda warm. Those ones, yeah. But and like the golden egg ones are pretty good. But yeah, I just enjoy making them. Um, but yeah, that's really about it. I think honestly, I really do enjoy Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I couldn't put this among my top 10 favorite Zelda games. I like this, and as I said, as much as I like it and think it's a great game, I wouldn't. Uh, if it did, I don't think it really is up there to get nominated for Game of the Year. I mean, it comes close. It is a good game, but when you look at what the other candidates, mm, I wouldn't really. I don't know. It has its case, but I wouldn't say it's up there. But I still think it's a great game, Zelda: Curse of Wisdom. If you haven't played it yet, definitely give it a shot. I like it. There's nothing more to say. Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom is a great game and a good first attempt to give Zelda her own playable her own mainline game. It's an 8.5 out of 10 half stars. Great game, like it. Yeah. So what's next? Well, I think it's about time I gotta get to the movie reviews, and well, let's just. I think the next review will definitely be Wicked. So yeah, I'll see you for then. In the meantime, House of Press reviews is out, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.